Hi there, I'm Steve Ruddock.
And I am Wendy Wolfe, and we are here today to talk about all things mortgage. When we last left you, we were talking about pre-approval. Now, Steve, I have clients that come to me and they say, oh, I'm pre-qualified, I'm pre-approved, I have a letter from the bank, et cetera, et cetera. What does that mean, and what actually makes somebody pre-approved?
Okay, so pre-approval and pre-qualify are like light years apart.
Okay.
One is good, the other one is, to my mind, not the right way to go.
Okay.
But I'm just going to look at this, folks, from a realtor's point of view. Wendy, when someone comes to you and say, Wendy, I want to look at houses, what you're talking about first of all is before you sort of get them all excited about a certain market or a certain part of the city or a certain whatever, you want to know what you can rightfully tell them, because you are there to guide them in the biggest purchase they will ever make.
100%.
Bottom line of that. So the first thing you need to do, folks, is find out what you can afford to spend, and not just right up to the last nickel, because you've got to put in other expenses. You know, you're going to have kids, you're going to have vehicles, you're going to have things to buy, that kind of stuff. So it's a big process. You sit down with somebody, they sit down with your credit cards, your credit score, all the costs that you have right now, what you're paying in vehicle leases and that kind of a thing, or costs, and just see what your costs are. And out of that, that's where you spend an hour or two figuring that out. And then we can say, okay, you are pre-approved for X amount of money.
Okay.
And on top of that, you can put in whatever you want to, but this is what you qualify for. Then you can go to you and say, here's what we can work with, and be happy with that. So let's start there.
So essentially there's more due diligence done with pre-approval than just pre-qualification.
Yes, because pre-qualified means nothing, because you can be told by somebody, yeah, you're pre-qualified for $500,000, but then when you go back in to actually get that money, they then have to sit down with you and say, let me see a recent pay slip. Let me see last year's T4s. If it's self-employed, I need to see X amount of things here, and all this kind of thing.
Right.
And that may not be exactly what you think it is. And for most people, they don't really know all their expenses or their incomes. Either way.
And then also, when it comes to purchasing a house, you have to think about lender fees and lawyer fees, closing costs, all that stuff too, which I find that could be an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that people
at least you got to have that money.
Right, exactly, that people don't expect. So, all right, pre-approval good, pre-qualified bad. Is that what we're going to leave them with?
Exactly. That's what I think. If you want to do it right, that to me is the right way to do it, because you want to make this a good experience for you, for the realtor, as well, to find you the best place for you in your current situation. And we don't want to put you in something that you can't afford, or get you all excited about something you can't afford.
Yep.
And then in the end say, well, sorry, you told us you made X amount, but really it's this, so you don't qualify. We don't want it to be a sad affair. It's got to be fun.
Good knowledge. Good info. Love it. Okay, so what's coming up? What's our next vid?
Our next one, we're going to talk a little bit about the stress test and what it means to people, because that's sort of the big boogeyman hanging over people right now. But it's actually a good thing, and we'll talk about that.
People are stressing over the stress test.
Exactly. A no stress test.
There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.